In pure space there is no action or motion, for such motion or action is itself void. So how can it be said that there's no motion? Surely there's motion going on all the time. It depends where your focus is. It's like the eye of the storm. In the eye of the storm is stillness, while chaos goes on round about, chaos and havoc. So you can be focused on the chaos and the havoc, or you can be focused on the stillness. The stillness is the eye of the storm. It's the heart of the storm. When the attention is turned to itself, there is this stillness. This is the reality in which everything else arises. It's like silence and sound. We could also say there's no sound, because all there is air or some other medium. And air is simply molecules of nitrogen and oxygen and one or two other things. So where's the sound? It's only air. Sound is only air. So depending on your focus, we can say there's no motion. It's like the waves on the sea. We tend to get caught up in the waves and forget about the deep ocean. There are strong currents in the ocean, but usually they're invisible. So if we're thinking in terms of sound and we're focused on air, we're not getting caught up in interpreting that motion as sound. We are just focusing on the air, in which case there is only silence. So we bypass the cognitive process here. In pure space, there is no action or motion, for such motion or action is itself void. Pure space here is pure awareness. It's awareness which is not caught up in the cognitive process. It's awareness which is resting in itself, in absolute stillness. Hence, pure space is untainted by such concepts as time, action, etc. All this is only in the mind, whose idea is spread as these images. The pure space is empty. That space cannot be divided at any time. We can think then of space as the space of consciousness, the space of awareness. It's that which allows everything to happen. Without consciousness there'd be nothing. Not even a hypothesis that there could be something. Space cannot be divided at any time. This is what we actually do most of the time. We divide space up into here and there, into far and near, into this object and that object, this person and that person. That's what the mind does. That's the cognitive process. But it's all notional. When the awareness is established in itself, this becomes apparent. When awareness is established in notions, then these notions become our reality. So this is inquiry. This is where inquiry leads us. It dissolves in the self. It dissolves the whole creation in the self. Now that fancied creation, it's fancied, it's notional, it's our fancy. Now that fancied creation has been dissolved, O Arjuna. It came into being by momentary delusion. It arises moment to moment. It's being created moment to moment. The Big Bang is happening moment to moment. The whole of phenomenal creation is coming into existence from moment to moment. we split it up and we retrospectively apply continuity to it. It is unreal, yet the mind is capable of creating this fantasy in a moment. This is what it does. It, the mind, makes a moment appear like an epoch. It makes a little look like very much. It makes the unreal appear real instantly. Thus has this delusion arisen. It makes a moment appear like an epoch. And this is what we do. I mentioned in a recent video how we have the story of evolution. And whatever its scientific merits, this story has the effect of making the moment into an epoch, because it takes the moment as something dependent on 15 billion years of universal evolution, rather than understanding whatever's happening right now came into being right now. This is another way in which there is not any motion, because there's only the instant. There's only the instant arising in absolute stillness. And our mind strings these instants together, creates memories, creates stories of the past, and therefore we are no longer aware of the instant, of the moment. We see it as indicative of billions of years of evolution. It makes a little look like very much. We can normally describe, if we're looking into the distance and we see a mountain, it looks small. But we know differently, don't we? We know it's a vast mountain, much bigger than us. Even though that's not what we're experiencing something quite small. We say, therefore, that it's in the distance, and if we go closer to it, it gets bigger. And that's what we think about when we look at a mountain in the distance. We think into the past, we think into the future, when we've been closer to the mountain and it's clearly bigger. So we no longer accept that small thing as a small thing. We say it's a big thing in the distance. We enwrap it, we enfold it in our story, which has got its own truth, and I'm not disputing that. All I'm saying though is we're no longer experiencing it in the moment. And it's important to have this facility for our spiritual understanding, to come back to the moment, and not to see things as far away, not to be automatically applying the laws of perspective.